so since Smith is pressed for time, we're gonna get into at least Smith. You can chime in on one news story.
Yeah, I got a news story.
And this is for you, brother. This is for you. I know. Not too long ago we talked about reparation. There was a small town in Illinois that was, that was gonna hand out reparations through a housing program, and we had a nice spirited debate as a group. So now we have something from the Wall Street Journal. U.S. is in talks to pay hundreds of millions to families separated at the border. The Biden administration is in talks to offer immigrant families that were separated during the Trump administration around $450,000 a person in compensation, according to people familiar with the matter, as several agencies work to resolve lawsuits filed on behalf of parents and children who say that the government subjected them to lasting psychological trauma. The U.S. Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and Health and Human Services are considering payments that could amount to close to $1 million per family, though the final numbers could shift. The people familiar with the matter says most of the families crossed the border illegally from Mexico to seek asylum in the United States, included one parent and one child. The people said many families will likely get smaller payouts depending on their circumstances. The people said the American Civil Liberties Union, which represents families in one of the lawsuits, has identified 5,500 children separated at the border over the course of the Trump administration, citing provided to it by the government. The number of families eligible under the potential settlement is expected to be smaller, the people said. The potential payout could be close to $1 billion or more. So
how much is this family supposed to be getting?
50,000.
Well, it could be close to per million per family.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Fellas, Smith, you start first. Chime in.
I was done with this story. I'm glad you put that shit back up because that shit annoyed me. The whole concept, the whole thing. It goes back to the whole Biden administration. You're not black if you don't vote for me, kind of thing. And I always talk about the slavery part of it. The reparations part. Now they was here from 2018 to 2021, and you talk about giving the motherfuckers $450,000 per.
Yeah, per individual. Yeah.
And you want to tell us to forget? You want a 9/11 again? You want to never forget? Always remember Holocaust. You want to still pay people now for shit, the atrocities and things that's occurring. And at the end of the day, you still put the black folks at the bottom of the pole, at the bottom of the total pole. So you're doing everything for everybody else. You want to get, like you just said, the key word illegally. You coming over here illegally and shit, and now you're gonna get paid. Like that shit is just stupid as hell, bro. Like I disagree with that whole concept totally.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm happy for him. Like, niggas gonna get money. It is what it is. I'm done complaining whether it's right or wrong. What else can we do besides say, dang, this shit ain't fair? Like, we got to figure out another option because niggas is gonna keep circumventing the whole idea of reparations and go and just help somebody else. So you got families who was displaced. Hopefully they don't blow that shit on the wrong fucking thing. It's whatever, man.
That shit 3 years, bro. You said about 400. That shit don't even make sense, bro.
No, it don't make sense, but it is what it is, man. I'm not even looking for reparations anymore. I'm gonna look at that shit like that fucking stimulus check that I didn't even need, but is happy that I got. Like, it's whatever. So, whatever. Help out the illegal immigrants.
Black Zeus.
I mean, what else? It's just another day in Bizarro world.
Yes.
It's
Speak
just
on
another
it.
day in Bizarro world. I mean, at the end of the day, none of this shit has to make any fucking sense. That's the whole thing. It's like, how deep in the madness can you go? That's what it seems like the whole point is. You know what? I know that up is up and down, but fuck that. Let's now say that down is up and up is down. I mean, just because we said it, because we felt it. because a handful of people said this, that, and the other. Like, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's just I'm just getting tired of black folks. Like I said, specifically looking for Sky Daddy and Obama, this and that one to save them. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know how far y'all gotta fall down the rabbit hole before you realize ain't nobody coming for you niggas. Get up on your own too. Start making your money. Start owning your property. Start, changing your communities. Stop making bad fucking decisions, having babies out of wedlock, kids that you don't fucking want to have. Stop looking for a savior. It ain't coming. How many times you gotta get slapped in the face, spit on, shit on, pissed on?
I thought you was gonna do the whole round, Black Zeus.
Yeah.
You're almost there, boy. I thought you was gonna
I'm gonna let it go, man. This shit makes me mad.
Yeah, like I get it. It is a spit as Smith and Schubert and even you, Carol, like you guys are pointing out. Obviously, black folks, this is a spit in the face of black folks who's been clamoring for reparations for fucking damn near a century now. It's this is our tax dollars that's going into it. We recently reported on how you got Afghanistan refugees coming into various parts of this nation, and they're clearly going to be seeking, getting some financial aid. And to have this sort of large, $450,000 is nothing to sneeze at, like
that's a lot of fucking money.
That's a lot.
That's life changing money.
Man, I'll quit my
That's
job if you give me
$450,000
right now, dead ass. And
that's life changing money.
And you talking about
changing money.
Yeah. And
I got a question for you though.
Go ahead, Smith.
You didn't talk about that part. The 450. Do I get to stay here or gotta go back to my country?
Well, clearly you staying here.
Oh, because they want that money to cycle.
Yeah, they want that money to cycle.
That makes sense.
And it's $1 million per family. Now, granted, the estimates are going to vary per situation, but it's just, man, I say this. I think black people need to continue the fight for reparations. I think this is just more ammunition for it. Mm-hmm. And still, like what Schubert is saying, still do what you need to do and still do the right things. But I think there's no ifs, ands, and buts that this government need to do what's right for black folks. I just find it funny, man. It's just like we are capable, and I'm going to broaden this argument. We're capable of helping every other foreign group except for the American people. I find that shit fucking hilarious.
I'm like,
like you still got people, you still got businesses struggling. You still got homeless vets on the street. You still got mentally ill people who don't have the support and the infrastructure that help them to get back back on their feet. But yet we could dole out money to people who might not be of great assistance to the community right away. We don't know what their skill sets are. We don't know what they're able to contribute to this nation. We're just giving them money.
We don't know what kind of bullshit jobs they're going to be doing. Exactly.
We don't know what kind of bullshit jobs they're going to be doing, if any at all, with that type of payout. So it's to what Black Zeus says, man. This is some bizarro world shit, and I can't imagine having to explain this shit to the generation of kids. Like we blatantly just disrespected black communities. We blatantly disrespected the homeless in America. We blatantly disrespected every other group that needed veterans. Yeah. Like anytime you listen to how veterans need, the support system that they need, and we don't have the funding to support them, it breaks my heart. But yet we could do this shit with no problem. 5,500 people, you do the math. Let's just say hypothetically all 5,500 children involved and their family gets somewhere between $450,000 to $1 million. That's a lot of guap.
Yeah.
Dude, even if you only gave 100,000 to 55,000, that's over that's 55 That's over $5 million that you just said, oh, you broke the law and you came here under, you didn't follow it, the procedures, this, that, and the other. Here's $1 million for you. Here's
Like, could you imagine trying to go to China?
Could you imagine a black person committing a crime and then paying them out for committing a crime for breaking the law?
Well, there are some crazy ass lawsuits where you can break into somebody's house and then you cause them harm, and then
Oh no, but I'm talking about the state.
The state, yeah.
I'm not talking about I know the fact of the state already has dumbass rules. If a nigga breaks into my house and slips on the stairs, he can sue me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm gonna shoot the motherfucker, put a knife in his hand. So when the cops got I was under threat and he had a knife. I shot him.
You see these fingerprints he put all over everywhere. Yeah.
Hey.
So,
I just, you know what, and I gotta do more research.
I got a question regarding that too.
Go ahead.
They move really fast with the Haitians. They won't be included in this pool of money, right?
Nope.
You know what? It might not even sound like it.
No, it doesn't sound like it at all.
It might not. We don't. Like, I don't want.
They were shipping them right back home. They was like, "No, motherfuckers, come on, get on this plane. You're going back down."
Matter of fact, they had a 6-point plan. You remember?
The Haitians are the wrong complexion, and they are even a smaller minority.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy though.
I just, you know what? I gotta do more research. I probably should have did some research into it last time. I just want to know if other countries have immigration policies like ours, where we could, where you could just roll up into China illegally. And,
I would think some places. I would think some places in Europe, maybe France.
Maybe France and maybe Germany.
Yeah. Dude, if you go to China, all right, on a tour, and let's say you did some vandalism, like you spray painted, a building or something, the police there can whip out a bamboo cane and beat you in the streets until they feel you've learned your lesson. That is legal. Spray painting.
Y'all niggas go to China illegally, y'all gonna end up making my Nikes. That's what the fuck gonna happen. That's where y'all niggas gonna end up. Niggas over here end up fucking $500,000 in New York, fucking America.
Like, yo, where Cash at? I don't know, fam, but I know he probably gonna know how to sew the shit out of some clothes.
Oh man. You're gonna get a pair of Nikes with the insole that has a message scripted into it. Send help. Cash.
They still got me over here.
Oh god.
Oh,
them niggas don't be playing out there, bro.
They don't, man.
Listen, just remember, Cash, I wear size 14.
Yes, brother. I'll be sure to hook you up, man.
Oh god.
All right, man. I don't know if you got time for more news, Smith, but
I got 9 minutes, man.
You got 9 minutes. All right, so real quick, so Facebook, right? So obviously we reported Facebook is going to be focusing on the metaverse, the augmented virtual reality. I sent you guys a video on Mark Zuckerberg demonstration. So Facebook came out with their new name, which is called Meta. But a funny thing happened. This is from The Guardian. This is a grave error. Facebook new name Meta means dead in Hebrew. Facebook's name has changed, which shocked social media, but most people who are of Hebrew descent has noted that the Meta name stands for dead. Dr. Nerit West Blake, a tech expert, wrote in a tweet directed to his Facebook communication team that in Hebrew, Meta means dead. The author in the Tech Lash and Tech Crisis communication, the Jewish community will ridicule this name for years to come. So, you guys, what did you guys think of? If you guys had a chance to look at the demonstration, what do you think of the Mark Zuckerberg demonstration? And what do you think of the new name Meta? And now that we know that Meta means dead in Hebrew.
So let's go backwards, right? With the name. Just because it means something in Hebrew doesn't mean that's what it means to everybody. Like,
Yeah.
are we speaking Hebrew? No, we're not. They back in the day, they made the car, the Chevy Nova, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Chevy Nova, in American, obviously, Nova means something, means uh, explosive, something, like as in supernova, right? But in Spanish, Nova means no go. So it didn't sell so well amongst the Spanish population because it basically who wants to buy a car that says no go? Other people bought it.
Yeah.
They didn't think it meant no go. Like what it means to you is not what it means to me. So why should I give a fuck that the Hebrew? Who the fuck is speaking Hebrew? Niggas reading the Bible. That shit was written in Hebrew. Who reading it in Hebrew? Not a motherfucking person. All right, so that's a dead argument, or that's a meta argument.
No pun intended.
So, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
as far as the demonstration, it's not for me. I'm sure somebody be into it. I saw it. I was like, that's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Yeah, that original meta came from Greek origin anyway, meaning across water. But well, one thing as a founder, they should have researched that shit more. But you know that you're going to probably offend somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be offended by something that you fucking say or do or change the name. But I'm with Black Zeus. I watched that 11-minute joint. That's that shit is for the next generation of youth. The whole part of I want my virtual reality to be my real reality. No, I wanted my reality to be my reality, bro. I don't that virtual shit to, I'm meeting Black Zeus in the virtual land so we can go play together and shit. What the fuck? Nah, bro. I can call Black Zeus and say, hey, you want to go hang out? And we do that shit. Like, I don't need to hang out in the hub in the virtual fucking, I don't need that shit, bro. That shit is I'm good with that shit. I watched the whole thing. People, this is going to be the next position of people really not loving themselves, man.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, they're really not loving themselves, putting up these avatars. You want to be a fucking avatar. No, I don't want to be a fucking avatar. I want to be me. You know what I mean?
Good point that he makes there, because when you look at the level of amount of people that have gone into depression and everything over social media, because they're looking at other people's pages and thinking everybody else's life is like so much better than theirs that they don't like their reality. So imagine if you go into reality that's phony and made up, and then you come back to your real reality. It's like, whoa, that's really
that's the point I was making last week. But I think you made an interesting point. I think they're gonna filter this out so that generations to come might not feel those feelings.
Yeah. I mean, generations to come, if you're making up your reality, I'm making up my reality, and we all making up our reality, it just becomes a common thing.
Exactly. You made a valid point last week with that.
When the TV first came out, the family that had a TV was the rich family.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that big box with a little tiny screen and all these bulbs and stuff. You was the rich family if you had a TV. Now everybody got a TV, so you ain't special.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I agree with you guys. Oh, go my bad. Go back.
It's all good.
Okay.
I was just thinking that these motherfuckers, I don't know, I think the only downside, I didn't watch the video, but anytime that you have like a name that offends certain people, that kind of, I don't know if it's gonna really matter with this dude because of how much money he makes, but a lot of times that affects the bottom line. Because now you got a whole subset of people who saying, I'm not fucking with Facebook because they're changing their name to Meta. Just to be clear, are they keeping they logo the same? The F, or they changing that shit?
Nah, they the logo change.
No, Facebook is staying Facebook.
Nah, they did an unveiling. They removed the Facebook thing and put Meta.
Yeah.
Well,
Smith Meta, Instagram, WhatsApp, all that shit.
Yeah, all of that stays the same. Yeah, all of that stays the same.
Another
Meta is going to be the parent.
Oh, something different.
Meta is the parent company that's going to oversee Facebook,
so
Instagram, WhatsApp.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's the umbrella corporation. That
Yeah, it's the
everything's
umbrella
gonna fall
And at
corporation.
the end of the day, Henry, that seems like it's good, and the subset will come on. But unfortunately, when you have a fucking conglomerate that is, and that's the only way of trying to communicate, people will buy in. You know what I mean? They won't be on the skirt on a outside that long. They'll be like, fuck the name. I'm going on because this is where everybody is. That's what happened with the social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people will bite into it. If I look, man, my old ass ain't gonna bite into that shit.
But
I'm
yo,
with
I didn't
Smith.
like the whole avatar you going in.
It was creepy to me, bro.
Yes, I didn't like
it was
and we
creepy.
could put our bank accounts in that shit, not like
Yeah. It was creepy as hell to me. I was just sitting here. My wife was just like, absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, it was creepy.
No.
Funny enough, Zuckerberg is Jewish. I'm surprised he didn't know what meta meant, being that,
That's what I said.
just because he's Jewish does not mean he knows anything about, he's Jewish by birth, not Jewish by
you're right. You're right, Smith. I mean, you're right.
Or that nigga might know, or he might know what meta means. That shit means death, and he could be fucking warning us all out.
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
Like, you getting this meta, motherfucker. You getting there. This is going to be the death of us. It's going to be the death of our reality, bruh. The fuck? That's what it's going to be. It's going to be the death of things as we know them. Shit.
I find it hard to believe because it's like, it's not like it's, something you can't just easily Google. Like, that's a pretty simple thing to freaking Google.
Oh, the name, right?
Yeah. What does meta mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Anybody can do that. So the whole thing is to say that he probably doesn't know that, or it's not a matter what it means to, a few Hebrew speaking people or Greek speaking people. All that matters is what people believe it means now. So in the sense of, they might think metaphor or meta reality or metaphysics. Like nobody ever says, well, that's dead physics, that's dead for, that's dead, no, they don't apply it that way.
Yeah.
They think of it as like, okay, a metaphysics is not exactly real physics, but it's a different type of physics. Metaphor isn't, means something, when you switch something out with something else, a facsimile of something, so they might go with that type of mentality with it. You got to remember, everything is contextual. If it's not something, if you're not speaking Hebrew, it doesn't mean what you say it says in Hebrew.
Yeah. But I do like the conspiracyality, though. I always love when people go down that route. Kelvin brought it in. Smith said, yes, it's the death of reality. That's how I look at it, Black Zeus. It's the goddamn death of reality.
Hey, well,
y'all gonna be in these, you have all these people being in these little motherfucking VR worlds and shit. Yo, not for nothing, I'm getting off, right? But they got a fucking episode of Black Mirror that mirrors this shit exactly. Where the people's living in that fucking virtual reality shit. I just don't like all that, bro.
Yeah.
I just don't like all that.
So is that the one where them niggas is riding a bike or something like that?
I don't know if they was riding a bike in that one.
I got to go back. The first 4 seasons was dope.
I didn't like the fifth season.
Yeah, the nigga from Get Out. Yeah.
Right. But it was riding a bike. All right, Smith.
Yeah, that was the first episode of season 1. He was like in this little cube ass factory. I don't know where he was at.
Are we wrapping up the book this week?
Next week. Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Smith. Then we'll holler at you.
All right, peace.
All right, fellas. Next bit of news. So this is from The Verge. Tesla value tops $1 trillion after Hertz ordered 100,000 of its vehicle. Rental car company Hertz has ordered 100,000 Teslas as part of its ambitious plan to electrify its fleet. A tranche of Tesla Model 3 sedans will be available to rent from Hertz in major U.S. and European markets from early November. After the purchase was announced, Tesla stock reached as high as $998 billion early in the day, increasing its market cap to over $1 trillion before the price dropped again. However, by the time the market closed by the day, finishing at $1,024 per share, which catapulted over the $1 trillion mark. This set Elon Musk to be one of the richest men on earth. Anyone renting a Tesla from Hertz will be able to use the automaker network of 3,000 superchargers across the U.S. and Europe. Hertz went into bankruptcy in May of last year after the car rental market was hit hard by the pandemic. The company, which is more than 100 years old, was eventually refinanced to tune of $5.9 billion by investors. So pretty much what was interesting too, to update further news, Hertz announced its partnerships with Uber and Carvana for its $100,000 income in Teslas, because why not? So now Tesla's going to be everywhere with, you can rent it, as well as you might find yourself being in an Uber car the next time you use Uber. So what do we make of Hertz's new move? What do we make of Tesla being now a $1 trillion company? Elon Musk being the richest man in the United States?
Don't give me my question. He got more bread than what's this nigga name?
Bill
Bezos?
Gates? Yeah, man.
Do I think? Good.
Uber
I don't know, man. Good for him, though.
like,
it's just,
Sorry.
Yellow right over there?
Nah, he was I think he was asking Siri or Alexa how much was something.
My bad. I forgot I was on the microphone.
What did you ask Alexa?
How much is Uber stock?
Uber stocks. Oh yeah. My man's like, yo, let me buy into this shit. Go ahead, Cal. Finish your thought.
How much she said? How much did she say it was?
$43. It started off at 31 at the IPO.
How much is it now?
43.
43 for one share.
Yeah.
Okay. What was I gonna say? I just wonder if, like, at this point, like, if these niggas are doing this shit because they really trying to better the earth, or is it for money? Like, at some point, for these niggas, it can't just be about the money, Like, is this nigga doing this shit because he's trying to, like, better the earth or better the situation? I mean, aside from that,
Who's
it
that?
just sound like the Elon Musk. It's just like, nigga, it just sound like the rich just getting richer. So the nigga's the richest man in the world. What do I make of that shit, nigga? Man, I just wish that shit was me. Did this nigga fucking he worked his way up from basically ground zero, right? Like, that nigga ain't come in. He wasn't.
I don't know if you
money,
know his story, but Elon basically is an engineer. All right, he develops things. So he developed PayPal, and then once he developed PayPal, he sold it for over $1.something million.
Can I insert a book? You got to read the book, The PayPal Mafia. That's a really good book to read about the startup of Elon Musk.
Okay, cool. I gotta look into that.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, he sold it, and he didn't pocket the money. He completely took every dime of it and reinvested it into what is Tesla today. He's not about the money. He's really about what he is trying. He is trying to create a legacy. He is trying to, make an impact in the world. Everything from, PayPal to Tesla to, is it SpaceX or Blue Horizon? Which one
SpaceX.
Is SpaceX is his, right?
Yeah, SpaceX is his, and Blue Horizon is Jeff Bezos.
Yes, that's right. So the whole thing is, it's not about the dollars for him. It's about, the impact. He's even trying to develop electric car that's going to be under $25,000, so that the common guy can buy a Tesla. So that's not somebody that's just trying to get rich. If that was the case, you would just make Teslas for those that are affording Mercedes and Lexus and BMW and the luxury class. But that's not the case. He's trying to make Tesla available for the average guy. So just because the money is coming doesn't mean that's what his focus is.
And I'm in that type of situation, I'm cool with that, because at some point, it's like, nigga, you've made so much fucking money already. Like, nigga, any other move that you really making needs to be for, like, the betterment or whatever. Like, even that whole idea of, like, fucking, okay, niggas is about to be living in space. Like, y'all need to be figuring out some shit to where everybody who needs to go can go. Because we already know that y'all. Well, I do. Okay. Because I was just really questioning.
Yeah, it might not be affordable in our lifetime to go, but it will be
so
affordable for the average person at some
So
point.
just to put in perspective, like Tesla used to have a dividend. The stock used to have a dividend, and they stopped issuing dividends to take that money and reinvest it into the company to keep making the company better. It's not about the bottom dollar. It's not about just this, that, and the other. I mean, I will say that Elon is a little funny because he be messing with the cryptocurrency, be teasing motherfuckers.
Well, he even
with
teased his
Twitter.
company price. You remember when he said that he wanted to remove the company from public to private, and
Right.
it kind of dipped the market price of
he be fucking
Tesla.
with those people that's all about the money.
Yeah, and the SEC was about to investigate him in regards of market manipulation with even his own company.
Just for putting out tweets.
Yeah.
That's how powerful Elon is. It's like he puts out a tweet, that tweet can make you money or make you lose money.
Yeah. But I think this is a great way to really expand the initiative of electric vehicles. We talked about, or I presented news how you have certain states like New York, California have implemented legislation by 2030. There are going to be no more gas selling cars in the state, and everything is shifting to be electric. I'm starting to see more electric port stations as I've been traveling. Like if you go to Jersey Gardens, there's like an entire fleet of charging stations for Tesla vehicles. I think it's really great, but it's because right now electric vehicles, I spent a great deal of time looking into it. Electric vehicles, while Tesla makes up, I think, almost 75 to 80% of all electrical vehicles sold. Electric vehicles sold is only 4% of all vehicles that's been sold in 2020. So, to Schuber's point, I think this is probably a great way, especially they're teaming up with Carvana, to try to make it affordable for the common person. My only knock on electric vehicles, I think it's perceived to be environmentally friendly, which in many ways it is, but there is a dark side in regards of how the lithium battery is mined for, and the disposable battery. Like, what do you do with the battery after it's reached its lifetime? Like, that could be a waste, a hazardous situation in itself. But I think this is really good. This is a really good thing for Tesla in regards to marketability. I think this could be a good thing for Hertz. I don't know. Hertz being bankrupt last year, this is a bold move for them to even try to purchase this many cars to see if it's even worth it for them. I don't know if I will ever do a Tesla Uber fare. That shit might be pricey as fuck.
No, I doubt it, because the whole thing is, it's like you're not being charged by the car. You're being charged by, the only time you're being charged by a car with Uber is if you specifically ask for Uber Black, Uber Comfort, or Uber Black XL. You know what I mean? Like you get
Okay.
for a specific type of car. But if the person who just happened to be driving you, that's no closest to you, happens to be driving a
Tesla.
A Tesla, it is what it is.
Okay. You know what? I don't drive. I never use Uber like that, so I always speculated the fancier the car, the more expensive the.
Nah. Okay. I've been picked up in Ubers. That were like hoop to hoops and like Mercedes E-Class, like Infinities, Cadillac Escalades, all everything in between. Yeah. Everything in between. Well, whoever has the car and whatever money they need to get by.
Only question with that moving forward is just like what's the next step gonna be for, like, okay, y'all making the electric cars available, but what about the niggas who ain't got no houses? So now I can only charge my shit where?
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Like, I see what you're talking about. Like how the installation of like charging it. I don't know. Like that, there's a lot to consider in regards to one, making it affordable, which we tackled, but then charging ports. Like, what are municipalities are doing to assist homeowners to make that switch, to make sure that each home has like a charging port? Like, do you think the state and the federal government need to do like a rebate program of some sort to assist with that. I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, you could have charging ports wherever you have a meter. The same place, the same way they charge you for a meter. They can throw in a charging port right there where the meter is. Every time you park your car in that area,
that's going to be a huge expense.
That is a huge expense.
And you know what it is in China? We talked about China. China, they don't argue about shit like that. When they see big initiative projects, they go all in for it. Whereas in America, motherfuckers going to be battling back and forth in regards to whether or not they want to be able to spend that much money on such a thing.
But that's only because communist China doesn't have 40,000 voices. Everybody got their opinion. It's like,
that's facts.
I don't want to do this. Well, you don't have a say.
That is facts. That is facts.
I mean, we don't validate everybody's opinion, everybody's feelings.
That's facts. And I would look. What I'm about to say is not an endorsement of communism. So don't I don't want people coming at me. But to your point, Schubert, it does make things more efficient, though. When you don't have that many voices, like from the people I know that visited many metropolitan cities in China, it blows America infrastructures out of the water.
Oh, completely. The fact of in China, even the homeless people, even the street performers use a form of Cash App to get their the cash when how you throw money in a hat or something.
Yeah.
For street performers, whatever, they even use Cash App for that.
Yeah.
All right. So even when it's coming down and things like that, they are ahead of the curve. Yeah. It's only Americans that are, because we let every dumb butt fuck have an opinion. And it's just like
the bureaucracy, which will be
why we validate that.
Well, I think this also leads to the bullshit jobs that we have, because it's just too much bureaucracy. We, like you say, too many voices, too many too many chefs in the kitchen.
Too many chiefs, not enough Indians, something like that.
Look, we sounding like George Bush, fucking up these cliches.
Whatever, man. The whole thing is, at the end of the day, America is the same one that voted in somebody saying, "I'm gonna build a wall." Like that was a solution.
Well, you had a lot of presidents. I remember George Bush Sr. talk about building a wall. All right, let's get into a couple of news before we jumped into the book. This is very interesting, and I think this might be controversial. So this is from Fortune. A man who takes 6 months of paternity leave is a sore loser, says Palantir founder Joe Losdale. The comment was made in response to a tweet that Pete Buttigieg, who's the U.S. Department Secretary of Transportation, who took time off to take care of his child, and criticism from the podcast personality Joe Rogan. Among many responses to Lonsdale post Wednesday, the founder of another venture capitalist said that he rebuked the statements. Lonsdale is a father of 3, but calls paternity leave woke politics. He is a long-time associate of Peter Thiel. Pretty much he thinks that paternity leave makes for weak men, and pretty much it doesn't lead to productive societies. So what do we think about his statements regarding men taking 6 months paternity leave, calling them losers?
Well, how long do the women normally get?
I don't.
6 months?
It depends on the
sure.
the
How long? Yeah, how long your wife take?
Well, here's the thing. I was gonna say it depends on the state and the job. So, for instance, my wife was able to take off 3 months, but that 3 months wasn't given to her. She had to use her sick and personal days that she had racked up over time. So the whole thing is, did she really get that time, or did she just have to literally use the time that she was supposed to have at first? Like, what if she didn't have those personal days and those sick days? She would not have had that time. So it all depends on what state you're in and so forth, so on. But as far as like what I think about his statement, I think his statement might have been harsh, but there's some truth to it, in a sense of the main reason we give women a maternity leave is because at that time the child may need its mother for breast milk, and that mother may need time to heal and recover from the whole giving birth process and being cut open or being torn open, if maybe whatever the case may be. So that's time for the child to receive whatever nutrients it needs and the mother for it to heal. Now, the time for a father to take off to be with the child, sentimentally, it's a nice thing. Pragmatically, it doesn't really make sense because the child doesn't need him for nutrition or sustenance, and the child does not need and he does not need time to heal and recover.
Okay, what you got? What do you think about the statements from Palantir executives saying that men who take paternity leaves freaking losers? I don't want to laugh at the subject.
We just had a whole conversation a while ago about how men don't really take those first couple of months seriously, or try to look past and say I'm gonna wait until my child gets older before I start, really building that bond. So I'm surprised Schubert's taking that stance, because that nigga's always like, bitches this and females don't get the free. Don't it ain't fair.
No, Here's the thing. Hear me clearly. I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. I didn't disagree with it. I just said I understand the pragmatic argument. That's all I'm saying, is that the fact of the pragmatic argument is the reason the mother gets this time off is because who else can produce the breast milk other than the mother? And the mother also needs and the mother needs time to recover. You can't make that same argument with the father.
Who's gonna be helping? Who's helping the mother recover?
And the whole
dad staying at home, Al.
Not
I think the
necessarily.
nigga, man, them niggas, women get 3 months off. Let the nigga get 3 months off too. I mean, I understand pragmatically what you're saying, but like, fuck that.
And then here's the other part of that pragmatism is the fact of, if I'm a company owner, a business owner, and I've got to pay your wife to be off for the next 3 months, 6 months, whatever case may be, and I've got to pay somebody else to come and take her place. Now you add on to that expense for me, where I got to pay you.
What's this? We both pay for this. We both work for the same company in this scenario.
I'm talking about
like in some cases, to Schubert's point, like if you're gonna take all 6 months, a lot of times what they'll do is hire a temp temporarily to fill the position if the staff is overwhelmed. But like is an additional expense that the company will have to,
to take that burden on.
Yeah, take that burden on
for the decision that you made for your life.
So how long does this dude think that the male should have off?
You know what? And he didn't get the comment he made. Didn't necessarily go into much details. He just basically kept it really short and just, like Schubert said, he took a very harsh tone with it. But he didn't necessarily give an insight as to what he thought was an appropriate time for men to take off for paternity leave,
if at all.
But it sounded as though he's a CEO. He got that alpha mind, mentality. He's like, I'm in the office 24/7. He's in the Silicon Valley area, so those guys are always thinking about the next big thing for society. And I don't know, man, but I want to.
That's nice.
Go ahead.
I don't agree, boy. I mean, even looking at it from the standpoint of like, I want to be able to build that bond with my kid over those 3 months. I'm really gonna sit here and watch my wife get all of that. Go through. I won't say, man, she can say reap those benefits, and I can't. I'm not saying that you have to pay me for those 3 months. That's fine. Pay me for whatever time you think is fair, whether it's 2 weeks or whatever the standard is. But nigga, allow me to have them 3 months if that's what I want to take.
Yeah.
Like, and now that I'm thinking about it, we got 2 teachers at my job who's on maternity leave. We paid them up to 3 months, but then they can still start taking their sick days after. Like, they can take long as they want. It's just that we won't sponsor it. The job is still secure when they come back, but so let niggas take out how long they want. Fuck that shit, man.
Yeah, but that's
the hood.
But that's the thing, is the fact of, like, again, going with the pragmatic argument, is that one, if you said, yeah, you'll take the loss in your financial pay, then that's fine. I think that's one of the things that the company will look at, like, all right, you taking the loss, we're not taking the loss, we'll hire somebody else to hold your position. But the whole thing is, we also have to bring somebody else that we got to train for a position that you already know. So that's also, holds back the company. So the whole thing is, your personal life is not in the company's best interest. That's what it boils down to. That's just what it really boils down to. Your personal life is not in the company's best interest.
Who made the comment? This nigga was a CEO owner, or was he just like a personality?
Nah,
he's a CEO.
He's a CEO. He is he's the founder of Palantir. Palantir is like one of the big tech companies out there in Silicon Valley.
And truth be told, it's like, unless you.
And he has 3 kids of his own, so he's not someone who's childless. Taking
and doesn't
this
understand.
Yeah, he's someone who has 3 kids of his own, and he's taking this stance.
I mean, honestly, listen, during the time that my wife was home with my son and I was, going to work, this, that, and the other, I had no problems bonding with my son when I came home from work. Actually, it got to a point where my wife thought that my son favored me over her. Because as soon as I got home, he even though she was holding him, he would reach out to be in my arms. So it's just like, do you really necessarily need to be home from work 24/7 in order to have a bond with your child? No.
Yeah, like, unless your wife is physically dealing with some complications after pregnancy, and you really need to be here to be there so that she can recover well. If she's able to bounce back relatively well and hold things down within a certain amount of time, if you're able to get back to work as a dude, I think you should be getting back to work, man. I really do think that you should go back to work. That's just me, but clearly a lot of companies are implementing policies to have paternity leave match maternity leave. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic. A lot of countries do this. America is very behind the 8 ball when it comes to these sort of things. So, he has more of the, Black Zeus, old ways of thinking. He's from Black Zeus generation. So, it's interesting. All right. And I'll probably skip this news for next week, but real quick in regards of update. So Netflix is looking to have a studio in New Jersey. So Netflix is going to bid on a 289-acre redevelopment site in Fort Monmouth. Pretty much the bid is for $54 million. So Netflix is going to be in our backyard. And last bit of news, the United States issues its first passport with the X gender mark. So I don't know if you guys recall some months ago when we reported that New Jersey now allows people to have the X on their license for their gender. So now passports will do the same soon enough. So, so that's more of me and that we're pressed for time. I'll probably share some of these interesting news for next week. But
in this week's inconsequential news story that doesn't mean anything at all to me. I'll put the X on that shit.
I'm dizzy.
Go and put the X on y'all shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
if Malcolm X could be here today.
Hey,
God.
at least we got Netflix coming to Jersey.
Woo!
And speaking of Jersey, don't forget to vote if you're a Jersey resident. Elections is Tuesday, but yeah.
For what? For the Democratic Party that don't give me. No, let me stop. Let me back up. Let me back up.
In regards to Mitt Romney came out and spoke against the proposal Janet Yellen gave in regards to taxing unrealized gains. Did you hear that one? To fund Biden's infrastructure bill?
Oh, stop it.
Yes,
You're gonna
dude.
tax on. So if I have a stock and that shit goes up in appreciation, even though I haven't collected, and this shit is still basically speculation, because if I haven't collected, it's not really. I realize you're gonna tax me on that shit.
Yes. Now, everyone who's coming out and said, because as the news went viral and everyone's giving their insight as to, what this means, the people who are coming out defending Janet Yellen per se is saying like, well, this is only going to be something for the billionaires. So the parameters set, and if I could pull it up in regards to what she actually said, the parameters are really surrounding if you make $100 million a year and your net worth is a certain amount. And people like myself, people like, and I'm assuming like you are saying like, I don't give a shit. It's targeted for the billionaires. This shit's still not right.
Yeah.
So Mitt Romney came out and said these multi-billionaires are going to look and say, I don't want to invest in the stock market because as that goes up, I got to get taxed. So maybe I'll invest in a ranch or in paintings or things that don't build jobs or create a stronger economy. Mm-hmm. So he got pushed back from, the leftists online. One person said, love when rich dudes like Romney start gesturing at Atlas Shrugged and peddling this nonsense whenever taxing the wealthy or investing in basic human well-being gets brought up. Another critic of Mitt Romney's critique or comment was, this is from Lindy Liu. She tweeted, Senator Romney is gravely concerned that taxing billionaires will cause them to invest in paintings on ranches instead of stocks. Oh, the horror. He's also said that Biden's infrastructure bill will prevent marriages. Note, he represents the so-called same wing of the GOP. And the criticism goes on and on. Some people,
and these are all people that obviously either don't know how finances work, don't know how, how money works. That obviously. It's kind of like with the whole, Whoopi Goldberg realizing, oh shit, I'm one of the 1%. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is the fact of these motherfuckers need to get educated in finance and how this shit works before they go and open their big fucking mouths.
Yeah.
I mean, before they go and open their big fucking mouths, it's like, yo, nigga, at the end of the day, you may not fucking like it, but it only takes a handful of motherfuckers to take their money and invest it to create thousands upon thousands of jobs. So a few motherfuckers feed thousands of motherfuckers, and now you want to punish them for it? Well, then fuck all of you niggas.
Yeah, let me play this segment for you.
Feed yourselves.
Yeah, let me play this segment for you because you're gonna have a trip off of this, bro. This is Janet Yellen, the U.S. Secretary of Treasury.
A lot to get to, but first, you just heard Speaker Pelosi. She floated some new ways to pay for this bill, such as a wealth tax, because it does appear that the plans to raise the corporate tax rate and raising the tax rate for top wage earners are out. With those off the table, can you still guarantee that this bill is going to be paid for?
As the speaker noted, we have a variety of different ways to raise revenue, and all in all, it should be relatively straightforward to raise the revenue necessary to pay for this bill. The final package, exactly what's in and out, hasn't been decided. That's being negotiated now.
Do you think that a wealth tax will be part of it, and can you explain what that would look like?
Well, I think what's under consideration is a proposal that Senator Wyden and the Senate Finance Committee have been looking at that would impose a tax on unrealized capital gains on liquid assets held by extremely wealthy individuals, billionaires. I wouldn't call that a wealth tax, but it would help get at capital gains, which are an extraordinarily large part of the incomes of the wealthiest individuals. And right now, escape taxation until they're realized, and often they're unrealized, and at death benefit from so-called step-up of basis. So it's not a wealth tax, but a tax on unrealized capital gains of exceptionally wealthy individuals.
That was it, bro.
How incredibly stupid is that shit? How incredibly stupid is that shit? That's basically saying, hey, shoot, I look at your portfolio. Yeah, it looks like your portfolio went up $100,000 this year. I'm not going to go by what you actually make as an income to pay your bills. I'm going to go by your portfolio. And going by that, even though your income, your actual income, and what you spend is $50,000, I'm going to tax you at $150,000 of money you don't fucking have. That is so incredibly stupid. But you have a bunch of dumb motherfuckers that don't understand how this shit works. Yeah, tax the rich, tax the rich. So when the rich say, fuck all y'all niggas, taking my money out the market, I'm taking my money out of the economy, I'm putting my money over in Sweden, or in fucking Denmark or anywhere the fuck else, and live my fucking life and say, fuck you niggas. And all you motherfuckers out of jobs, all you motherfuckers, then who you gonna turn to? I hope you turn to all these. I hope you turn to Biden. I hope you gonna move into his house.
No, Biden's gonna say, "Oh, you black? Oh, you already know the history of Biden in the black community. You better not be black."
Y'all talking about taxing the rich for what? Because, and here's the thing, y'all just hate it. The rich didn't make you poor, nigga. The rich didn't fucking make you poor. The rich either grandma, grandpa, somewhere started pinching their pennies, like that one story that we read in, I think, Philosophy of Money, where the dude had $8 million, but was like, living, like with the same
destitute. Like he lived like he was straight up homeless.
So you mad that somebody made that sacrifice and they benefited from it, and now you want to come take it from him? Or take it from his kids because his kids didn't have to work for it, or take it from his grandkids because fuck you.
Like they're trying to target the Jeff Bezos, the Richard Branson, the Elon Musk, the Warren Buffetts with this. And Warren Buffett has, which is very weird, he has always been kind of liberal with this. He always felt like people of his status needs to be taxed more. But the problem with America is
he was saying tax more in the sense of money that you actually have, not money that is on paper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not an evaluation.
Warren Buffett have never said that.
At the end of the day, it's not money in your pocket. It's not liquidity. It is an evaluation. That shit can change in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. Look at the 2008
crash in March.
Exactly. Or look at the crash last year in March. It's just like, the valuation would definitely change in a heartbeat.
And then think about that shit. It's the fact that the volatility and the shit that it can change in a heartbeat. On Monday, my portfolio could be worth $1.8 million. On Friday, that shit could be worth $500,000. But yet you're gonna tax me at the 1.8 that I don't fucking have?
Yeah, they're gonna tax you on whatever, I think, at the end of the year. So on December 31st of the year, whatever your portfolio looks like, they will target the billionaires on this. But like you and I've had this discussion so many times in the past where America doesn't have a taxation problem. We have no problem taxing and collecting money off of tax revenues. We have a spending problem. Yo,
you goddamn right. When we giving illegals $450,000 for breaking the fucking law.
Yes.
While our American people who have been living here and paying their taxes and doing this, that, and the other can't get, let's say UBI, for instance, right?
Yeah.
I'm in support of UBI.
Oh, yeah, I am too. The more technology is kind of like wiping out jobs, I am too.
I'm in support of UBI.
Yeah.
As long as UBI is the bare minimum.
Yes.
All right. It's not going to give you flush, but it's enough to get by.
Yes.
All right. So it's like, yo, I don't want you in the streets. I want, but at the same token, I don't want you living next door to me, nigga.
Yeah.
I spend guap to live here. Bust my ass, nigga. You know, and that's the thing. It's like, I think about these things because the whole thing is like, I see the possibility. I'm like, nigga, I grew up with nothing. You know how good it felt to walk up in a fucking lawyer's office and say, like, here's a check for $100,000 to buy a home?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, do you know how good it feels to live in the home that I live in?
Yeah.
All
it
right?
feels good to live in the home I live in and in the town I live in. It
like,
really does.
It's like to think of like where I started.
Where I started in the hood, being born in the crack epidemics in Brooklyn, living in the hood in Irvington, and to like have a home in my I feel you.
I'm trying to tell you, it's just like, and the whole thing is, it's like I ain't special.
I'm not either. Yeah.
And the whole thing is, all I see is, you know what I say. I look at Jay-Z, I look at Warren Buffett. I'm like, that's possible.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know is that it's possible. Niggas don't want to think about that shit. Y'all just want it to be handed to you.
Or it's like to even work on, like, even aspiring to get a fraction of their net worth is possible.
Thank you.
So again, I
especially in this day and age where information is like abundantly available. It's not like back in 1940, 1970, 1980, even 90. You could say this information wasn't available. Nigga, nowadays, you young people, you could watch Millennial Money, you could watch Graham Stefford,
Bigger Pockets. There's so many financial podcasts that are out there.
So many people hollering from the hills, hey, here's how you can make money. But you niggas want to watch cat videos. You niggas want to watch World Star. You niggas want to watch all this other bullshit that ain't helping you, but then cry about how the rich and this and that, as if there's some secret that's being held or kept from you.
And that's the thing, like, you and I have talked about in particular about the specific situation with AOC, Amazon, and what happened in New York City, and how she railed against having Amazon there about their workers' conditions and all that stuff. And I hear you in regards of how Amazon treats its employees, but to basically frighten Amazon away from New York City. But her reasoning that she put out there was, New York City could use those funds that they could have gave Amazon and put it back in the infrastructure. Like
what funds were they giving Amazon? You dumb bitch who doesn't know how money works. Wearing a dress that says tax the rich while you're going to a party that the ticket is $35,000.
Bruh, explain how dumb her assessment of the Amazon was, because this is going on. Like, explain how dumb that was.
I mean, oh my God. Oh, I can't. I fucking can't. It's like saying, you know what, Bradley? I'm going to give you a discount, right? I'm going to give you a discount on training. I'll only charge you 50% of what I would normally charge. I normally charge $100 an hour. I'm only going to charge you $50 an hour. And my wife coming up to me and saying, you're going to give him a $50 discount when that money, that $100 can go towards this, that, and the other. Babe, I don't have the $100. But you're giving him $100. No, I'm not giving him shit. I'm giving him this. I'm working from zero. I have nothing coming in. He'll give me 50 instead of 100. He'll give me 50 instead of the zero that I have coming in now. But still, the $100 could go towards. Bitch, are you crazy? I can't. I fucking can't.
And you have people like that, like with those set of mindset, their inability to understand economic infrastructure or economic policies in regards of how money comes in, how it's supposed to be, disposed of and stuff. It's absurd. One of the things that I was reading, and we shared this in the past before in regards of how, I think when we were reading The Myth of Capitalism, and how the wealthy constitute for like 80% of the stock market. Like the top 1% makes up 80% of the stock market. If you were to impose this sort of unrealized capital gains tax on the wealthy, the stock market will crash in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah,
it'll crash in a heartbeat because they're the ones who's really driving the stock market.
Dude, I just sold all my shares of Apple. Right, I'm downsizing. I sold all my shares of Apple because I realized, nigga, the money I'm putting into Apple, even with their little bit of dividends, this, that, and the other, I'm never really gonna see the type of returns that I would want to see off Apple unless I am buying, 200, 300 shares of Apple, which I'm never going to be able to do. I'm better off taking my money. You know what I mean? Because at the same token, like if Apple takes a loss, let's say I would take a huge loss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm better off taking my money out of Apple and all my individual stocks and now pushing it towards my ETFs. All right? Put it in my index funds. Because those index funds are going to be a smoother ride with less volatility and give me a more consistent, payback. And I don't have to think about it anymore. Just like let that shit ride. All right? Because I'm a little guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a Warren Buffett where I could be like, Coca-Cola, I just bought 50% of all your stock. I now own you.
Yeah.
Like I can't do those type of moves.
Exactly. Like people don't realize. I never forget when there was who was the investor? Bill Ackerman, and there was a company called Herbalife, and how it was released.
Oh God!
And he released that he had these shit ton of put contracts. He drove the market. People don't realize, like you said, it's not gonna be me. It's not gonna be you with your shares. It's these multi-billionaires who really drive the market with their institutional hedge funds.
Yeah.
If you're saying, we're going to tax you, then, the stock market, everyone lately, I've been listening to a lot of financial podcasts, and everyone is feeling the ride. The Dow, the S&P has hit historic gains again this past week. Everyone is feeling this ride. If this shit goes down, it finds its way into the bill, and it ultimately get passed. I'm predicting the market will crash over 50% in a heartbeat. Because all of those investors, all of those multi-billion investors in hedge funds will basically sell off their positions.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It will sell off their positions. They're like, nah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, if I find that shit out, I'll sell my shit too.
Exactly.
I'll take the 40% tax loss versus like the tax on my on my gains versus lose all my shit. Like, nigga, is you crazy? Is you dumb? Dumb?
And when people say, "Oh, this is only the billionaires," but
who creates everything? Like
who creates everything?
You motherfuckers act like the clothes on your back, the house you live in, the car you drive, the food you get is produced by you. You don't produce shit.
Man, all those gains, like I said, the gains that I'm seeing in my portfolio and in my 401k, that shit will take a hit if these billionaires basically say, we're pulling out of this game. The stock market is not where it's at. Like, we'll pull out the game. And then
I'm about to go to Bitcoin.
And that will probably be the alternative. And two,
that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna push everybody to Bitcoin. They thought it was bad before.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers was buying into cryptocurrency and this, that, and the other. They're talking about, you're escaping the system and the black market. Nigga, Bitcoin is gonna be the thing.
It's going to be the thing. And then two, what I always say, any laws that gets targeted to targeted to the ultra wealthy or the rich always find its way down to the regular common folk.
Absolutely.
Always.
How could it not?
It always
whether it's the fact of I'm gonna raise the price of my product at Starbucks, so now instead of paying $4 a cup of coffee, you're paying $7 because you niggas want my shit. You can't get it from nobody else but me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm the drug dealer. You know what I mean? I'm the producer, not the consumer. Or I say, you know what? Y'all keep paying the same price. Um, Jennifer, Tiffany, Bob, Brad.
It was nice having you.
You know, it was nice knowing you. Juan, Jose, if you want to keep that job, you better keep pumping out them coffees, bro. I don't care. You gotta do 7 jobs and there's only 2 of you. Do what the fuck you gotta do, or you'll be out on the streets with Brad and Jennifer.
And the problem I always have with these sort of legislative these proposals, like, oh, this is just a proposal. The problem I always have is, yo, you act like these billionaires don't got the most smartest, intelligent CPAs and attorneys behind their pocket. Like, it's similar to like how the thresholds for monitoring was 10,000. Anything 10,000 gets suspicious and stuff like that. But now, you know, Nancy Pelosi just doubled down on the $600 IRS sort of monitoring of $600 transactions. Like, yo, they're saying that that's supposed to target the wealthy. Bitch,
who the fuck is spending $600?
Yes, like that's common folks. That's common folks that you're really like, targeting.
And here's the thing, it's like funny because I was just talking about this. One of my clients, she's telling me how, like, yo, her when she filed her taxes last night, they were asking about money that she got on Cash App and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yeah, nigga. Yeah, they're gonna come for that shit too. Every little thing. That's why I got zero shit in my name. All of everything is on the fitness piece. It's a business expense.
Yeah,
that's a business expense.
They're targeting,
it's
and
like,
that's the thing.
You can't touch my money. Every dollar that comes in, you can't touch that shit until I paid all my bills and paid for everything that costs to run this fucking company, including my wife's car, including the cell phone, including the laptop, the Zoom calls, X, Y, and Z, and then whatever is left, you can tax that shit.
But you know what's the way they proposed it, or the way it was presented, as though the $600 transaction is really to target the wealthy of this country. And I'm like, but $600? That's supposed to be your threshold to target the wealthy?
That's not even the wealthy. That is the small business owner.
Exactly. That's not
you ain't really Cash App $600 to your friends.
Exactly.
On a regular basis.
If you're worth millions of dollars.
All right.
You're not doing that.
You're not doing that. All right. That's for the landlords. All right. That's for the barbershop owner. That's for the hairdresser, the private train, like all the people that's getting cash. The little bit of cash to get through the day.
Exactly.
All right. That's gonna be
the contractor, the handyman.
That's gonna be the Uber drivers.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? All you motherfuckers that don't understand how the system works, y'all gonna get fucked harder than anybody else. Because guess what? These billionaires, they know how the system works. They know what it is.
And then when they
they play the game hard.
Exactly. So when they realize the billionaires are not necessarily paying the level of taxes to supplement this infrastructure bill, and you're scratching your ass and you're seeing like, oh shit, look at this look at this deficit, this budget, the debt that we're in. Like, what can we do? All right, well, we got to start lowering in the thresholds. All right, we're not going to do multi-billionaires. We're going to do high millionaires. And then it's going to be a snowball where it gets lower and lower and lower, where it's just like, all right, maybe not multi-millionaires. Let's lower it to like the low single-digit millionaire, like maybe who's worth $1 or $2, $3 million. And then at that point, we all could be worth. That's all
majority of people.
Because they will factor in the value of your home.
Yep.
Like, they will factor the value. Yo, dude, on paper, I'm damn near a millionaire based on the value of my home.
Nigga, between my portfolio, my home, and my business, I'm already there. On paper. Not in my pockets. If you look at my bank account right now, you be like, this nigga's a millionaire. No.
Exactly.
No.
Like,
that's just based on what the value of my assets are, and that shit can change over fucking night.
Exactly.
My dude, when I bought this place, right? So when me and my wife, I happened to get it at just the right time, right? They were selling my place for $350. When we looked at the spot, it had 13 bids on it already. All right. And that was within like 3 or 4 days. 13 fucking bids. So I had to come high or not come at all. I said, listen, the highest I'm willing to go is 400, but I'll put 100,000 down. You know what I mean? Bought the house. Yesterday was literally the anniversary of when we closed on this house, right? The 1 year anniversary we're closing on the house, right? And the whole thing is checked how we checked our the what do you call that thing? To find out what the property is worth now, right? The shit appreciated by 40 grand in a year.
Damn, that's impressive, bro.
In a year, all right?
Yeah.
Because like everything has been going exponentially like overnight around the area, all right? Where motherfuckers could not, you know what's been going on with the housing market.
Oh yeah, it's a doggy dog.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And I know that shit ain't real. That shit ain't in my pocket. That shit ain't legitimate. All right, that shit's on paper.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm paying. I'm still paying to the bank 200 plus grand. You know what I mean? That I'm paying off to the bank. That 40 grand ain't realized. If you were to tell me you're gonna tax me on money that's not nigga, fuck you. I look at my little sister who, like, she be really buying into the bullshit. She bought her house for $480 over on Roseland. It's a 6-bedroom, 5 bath, 4 bath, 4.5 bath, 6-bedroom, living room, dining room, kitchen, den, another living room, and like it has a 4-car garage, and it has a spot that holds like I want to say 7 cars in the driveway. All right, big ass property. She bought it, at $480. Right now, according to the evaluation, that shit is worth $780. $750. All right. My little sister actually believes in this shit and thinks to herself, like, yeah, my house is worth $700. Bitch, is that money in your pocket? Is that money in your pocket? Because she is like one of these people that is basing her retirement on her home. That when she goes to retire, she'll sell her house for this stupid amount of money. And I'm just like, bitch, is you crazy? 2008 didn't teach you a lesson? It's not a matter of what your shit is worth on paper right now. It's a matter of what it's worth when you go to sell it.
Yeah.
So if the market happens to plummet, which by the way, most millennials now are downsizing. They're minimizing.
Well, some of them are regretting their home purchase.
Exactly.
So, a lot of them are regretting their home purchase.
And the thing is that, you're going to be selling your home to the next generation later down the line that may not want a home as big as yours because of all the expense and the maintenance and the repairs to take care of that type of property. So, bitch, you may not see the money you think you're going to see.
Man, it's crazy in regards to how short-sighted the way people think wealth and transfer of wealth and how taxation works. I just don't understand how the biggest problem that we truly have is a spending problem. There shouldn't be look, when we passed the CARES Act, which was designated for the coronavirus
Hold on a second, Cash. Hold on a second. Hello? Oh, I missed it. But go ahead.
No, like when we passed the coronavirus, the CARES Act, which was supposed to be, giving aid to those who are, being impacted by the shutdown. Like there was so much bullshit spending that was in there that had nothing to do with the coronavirus itself. Yeah. You're talking about funding museums and funding this special program and this program, and you're just scratching your head and you're just like, how does this help the restaurant owner or the gym owner who's currently shut down? This doesn't. And this ultimately comes down to not a tax problem but a spending problem.
Absolutely.
Like that's like giving a drug addict, like, yo, you know what? Here's $100. You don't even try to treat them with any therapy. You basically say, here's $100 every time they come to you.
Fucking bananas, my dude. It's fucking bananas.
Yeah, man. It's yeah, I had to share that one. I couldn't wait. I was thinking I was gonna share that one for next week, but I was like, nah, I gotta get you because
And the funny thing is
they
that
haven't pulled that out of the as a proposal within the infrastructure bill.
the other part of it that really fucking sucks is that most of this quote unquote financial education, or not financial education, this lack of financial education is almost purposeful because all these fucking woke, tax the rich motherfuckers are coming out of college with all these dumbass ideas, not knowing how the system works, not knowing how economics work, coming with their dumb liberal, and you might have to edit this shit out, female feminists, leftists, LGBT fucking bullshit that they will destroy the system that feeds them and don't even know it.
Don't even know it. It's
like they will actually cause and they'll still go ahead and blame the rich for not just giving them shit.
And if you want those programs to be passed, let it stand its own merit. Don't try to sneak it in on another bill that's really everyone's going to agree with. Like when you think of infrastructure, no one's going to disagree with the notion of having better infrastructure. Left, right, independent, whatever. Like everyone's going to agree with that. So and this is where I agree with you wholeheartedly when you talk about the politics of these politicians is, all right, well, we know the vast majority of Americans are going to agree on this bill, but on page 996, let's put this special program in that's going to be designated for $50 million for knitting or something crazy. Like, why do something that disingenuous? If this is something that you care about, pass another bill and propose that, like, yo, knitting is essential. This is essential for whatever the cause that you think is for. But like that's the shit that bothers me. That's where the wasteful spending comes in. Like a lot of times they put these stupid ass projects on a bill that comes across as very necessary for the public, and then you come to find out that there's a bunch of wasteful spending in between, that's layered in there. But the solution, let's just gather more money to fund the problem, as though we don't collect enough money as is.
Man, listen.
Man, it's yeah. That was yeah, bro. Yeah. So Mitt Romney's out here catching all types of daggers.
Even though he's telling the truth.
Yeah, he's telling the truth. My man's saying like, yo, the wealthy will just simply stop engaging in the stock market and they will find other assets to invest in.
And that's just the fact. Yeah. It's like, yo, it's like, and the fact of that who was the asshole that responded like, they'll take their money out the markets and spend it on this instead, boo-hoo or some shit like that. Like, yeah, bitch, like which completely circumvents your whole tactic to get their money.
Exactly.
Like, why don't you understand that? Like, you're a fucking idiot. That's why.
It's so crazy in regards to like how they just don't simply understand. Like these people have the most sophisticated lawyers, CPAs, they name it, they will find a way. They will I was watching John Stossel, and he was interviewing the inefficiencies in our tax system. And basically this was during the time AOCs hit the scene and everyone's talking about tax the rich, and how they brought up back in the day the rich were paying like 70%, like was paying I think a 70% tax rate. And all of these progressive people seemingly want to bring that sort of high tax rate back to to today. And John Stossel, who's an independent, he had this tax historian, and he said, yes, while the rich and the wealthy were taxed at 70%, they really wasn't paying the 70% tax because they were doing other things. They were moving their money. He's like, historically, when you always look at these sort of high tax rate that the rich were paying, they never really paid that tax rate.
No.
He's like, that's the one. I will.
But the whole thing is, the way you circumvent paying taxes is that you put it into other assets that create the economy.
Yeah.
Whether it be through business or whether it be through commodities, and it's, whatever other ways. Like, the whole thing is you circumvent paying those taxes. It's not like you just put the shit in your fucking pocket.
Yeah.
You had to do something with it. And it was completely legal.
Yeah.
So when you're buying property, and when you buy the property, it's been shown that you having that property comes with other like residual income or residual spending. Whether it's like the maintenance of the property, taxes on the property, so at the end of the day, you may not get that tax money that you got from that one-time hit, but you're getting repetitive money, in smaller amounts from them having those assets. So at the end of the day, they're still kicking out something. But the whole thing is, why would anybody? And this is the thing: nobody ever wants to justify this shit to me. Why should I pay 70% of my income, right, when I don't get any more benefit than any other citizen? I still have to stop at the red light. I still have to be held to the law.
Well,
I got if I'm paying this kind of money, I want fucking diplomatic immunity where I can just go around doing the fuck I want to do.
Well, shoot, you're doing a humanitarian service by being taxed more. That's what you're doing.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me play you the part. I found it.
But it turned out that the 70% rate was
have both immediate and permanent benefits to our economy.
But it turned out that the 70% rate wasn't very real either. No one paid 70%, let alone 90%. What did they pay?
A millionaire, on average, would pay 41%.
Because when taxes are high, rich people find loopholes.
There's all these deductions and exemptions and carve-outs that are intentionally baked into the tax code.
Newspapers ran ads. Cruise for free. $2,499 value.
And basically take a vacation around the Caribbean, but while you're on board the ship, you attend, say, an investing seminar or a real estate seminar, and then write off the trip.
The whole trip.
The whole trip.
Deductions became so complex that rich people, instead of inventing, say, a precursor to the iPhone, hired accountants to study the tax code.
Who can afford the best accountants? It's always the wealthy.
Today, the top tax rate is 37%. The top rate started dropping again after Ronald Reagan said 70%.
That's pretty much it, But
okay.
Yeah,
so
and that guy said, he's from the he's a tax historian, and he said, yes, we had high tax rate, but the wealthy never paid that shit.
But even if that's the case, think about what he said. You go on a trip, right? You go on a trip, so basically it's either you can't keep the money, you still have to spend the money somewhere.
Exactly.
So if you go on that trip, if I go on a trip right now, right? Let's say I'm going to, I don't know, Disney. I gotta pay for my hotel, which if I'm paying for a hotel, guess what? The hotels create jobs. It creates infrastructure. It creates money that is going into the system. I got to pay for the Uber that takes me to the hotel. I got to pay for the flight that's going to fly me out there. I've got to pay for whatever trinkets I buy out there, this, that, and the other. I got to pay for my whole entire family to fly. If I'm a fucking multi-millionaire, I'm paying first class. I'm not sitting in coach trying to be cheap as shit. I'm paying first class. So the whole thing is, at the end of the day, it's either spend it or lose it. So would I rather give it to the government to do whatever the fuck they want to do and pay for knitting, or would I rather spend it and at least enjoy the money that I fucking work for? Nigga, fuck you.
And that's exactly that.
It's just that fucking simple.
It's simple. They will just go on a huge spending spree. They'd be like, yo, I'm just going to buy all of this shit.
Motherfuckers, I remember when I was in Fort Lauderdale, They were. We went on a tour for Lauderdale. That they were talking about the houses and the yachts and this, that, and the other. And people look like, oh my God, these people have so much money to buy a yacht. And I'm just like, nigga, you know how much money it costs to maintain that house with the helicopter pad and this, that, and the other, and how? Think about Dr. Dre. All right, that nigga makes $800 million, and his bitch wanted to take him for $1 million a month or whatever the fuck it was. All right. At the end of the day, that nigga got paid security.
Mm-hmm.
He got paid for a driver. I think they had like 6 nannies, 12 maids. They had multiple houses that had to be maintained. It's like, nigga, you got to spend that money.
Yeah.
It's either they tax you, because nobody's sitting on money.
No.
Nobody's sitting on it. That's the thing.
When they see Elon Musk worth $300 million, he doesn't have $300 million liquid in his pocket. I don't even think Elon Musk probably has access to $100 million cash.
Yo, that's the thing, is that these motherfuckers don't understand. It's like, yo, if you hear Jeff Bezos is worth X amount, but they're counting every Amazon truck, every Amazon building, every Amazon piece of equipment, this, that, and the other. It's like, nigga, I gotta sell all that shit, and not everybody looking to buy that shit.
Exactly. It's and this is what Mitt Romney was alluding to. You're going to see them, and he's a billionaire himself. This is the thing that I despise. You got somebody who's of that class and says, yo, this is not going to work because this is what they will do. He is warning you. He is telling you, you could pass these ludicrous bills you want. It sounds nice to the public who think that the rich are too rich for their own good, but this is what's going to happen. But rather than acknowledging what he has to say and find a better alternative to address the needs of the American people and to address programs that needs to be addressed, you ridicule what he has to say. And then when you do pass these these sort of legislative laws out there and realize like, oh, snap, I'm not able to collect the thousands of dollars I was going to get from Schubert because Schubert went out and bought another house and stuff, and we can't necessarily. And the thing is, the unrealized gain, I was listening to somebody breaking this down. He said the unrealized gain only works with stocks. Not saying that you can't tap into like unrealized gains of other assets, but it's easier with stocks. Whereas in other assets, he said, good luck. The IRS will have the hardest time assessing that.
Absolutely.
He's like, it only works with the stocks. So now
that's why I said stocks. There's no way you could do that shit with real estate or art, or that's why he said they'll just put their money into something else.
Yeah, they'll just, and it's just, and if you have somebody of that class telling you this is how this will play itself out, take heed to the advice. You know, that's like me ignoring any health advice that you have for me. Like, I don't know what she was talking about. I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway.
Yep. It's fucking retarded.
It is so retarded, bro. I just laugh because this been, in addition to, the Biden administration is doing regarding the $600 tracking of $600 transaction. Now you got this. This was like viral. Everyone has been talking about this. Everyone in the financial realm been talking about how, this sort of unrealized capital gains tax on the billionaires, and it's interesting to see the two sides of the fences.
I almost wonder if that's the smoke screen to make you look over there while they're dipping in your back pocket.
It could be. You're absolutely right. That sort of diversion.
More people will look in. More people will pay attention and look into that whole tax the rich thing and like look to support it and look to see where it goes, then look to see where the $600 thing goes.
That could be true.
Because people are stupid like that.
Yeah, that's true. Like, you get enough people on that bandwagon where the $600 gets slipped in and get passed. I don't know, man, because I think you got enough bankers and enough Republicans to say, oh, hell no.
Well, not right now. The Democrats control the House.
I think you got enough middle of the road Democrats, moderate Democrats that's going to say, nah, I'm not passing that ludicrous. Nah, I'm not doing that. That's insane. That's insane. But like you said, the $600 tracking of transactions only is really I don't care what Nancy Pelosi says. That, like you said, it really is targeting small businesses. Hands down. You can't convince me otherwise. You just can't.
Yeah, there's no justification.
Yeah,
There's
like
no fucking justification.
yeah, you were set at $10,000. You were set at $10,000 because even then you could still make an argument that's still tracking small businesses, but at least you could say, all right, but that's a large enough transaction for you to say not every small business operate in that amount of money. I don't know if you know, but come on now, $600.
And that's his thing. You know why $600? Why it's so damn low? Because it wouldn't just hit like somebody in New York. It's gonna hit somebody in the Midwest that is paying rent for $600.
Yeah.
For a 2-bedroom space or a 1-bedroom space or whatever the fuck it is. Because you know, like the Midwest and the South, everything's a lot cheaper.
Yep.
So
that landlord,
yep. You would hit those landlords down there, you know, as well. Because up here, ain't nobody getting no $600 rent up here.
Nah, no, absolutely not.
All right. But down there, so it's like, oh, I'm hitting everybody up north and everybody down south and Midwest.
Yeah.
Like,
bruh, man. And they're not letting this up though, because they're trying to really fund this infrastructure bill. They managed to get it down from, from 3, a lot of the progressives are hating the fact that a lot of their special programs have been cut because obviously a $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill was outrageous and ludicrous. Like, who's funding for that? Like, the American people are broke, but and they managed to dwindle it down to a little under 2 million. But still, though, man, it's the measures in which they're trying to fund it. It just doesn't sit right. It doesn't sit right. Like, this is not going. And the argument that, oh, this is just for the billionaires, they don't know. They don't follow history. It's that emotional stuff. It's, again, you're thinking that a bill that's intended for one demographic of people will always find itself to hit the masses.
Yep.
Always. It might not be now. It might not be 5 years from now.
It may not be directly.
And it might not be directly. Exactly.
But it always hits.
It will always hit the masses, and the wealthy will always have their special team forces to make the magic disappear for them, while the rest of us is really having to pay that actual burden of taxes. It always historically has always played itself out like that.